Well, if there's one thing I've learned this week, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't poppin'. And welcome aboard, folks. Michael Cohen here with you on the Sports Talk Nation. Now, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for jumping on the training camp video and giving a lot of support to it, as now we are approaching 1,000 subscribers. So continue to enjoy, continue to watch, and certainly we got a lot of content coming up here on the channel, well, not just with the football, with the baseball as well. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and join our channel. We got a lot coming your way. So, before we get into the stuff about Aaron Rodgers' contract renegotiation and, of course, Dalvin Cook potentially coming here by the end of the weekend, a lot going on with the Jets. They just continue to end up making the headlines, whether Sean Payton likes it or not. Yes, that's where we're going to start right now, folks, that's been the big scuttlebutt this week, and the big story this week has nothing to do with anything that the Jets have done. It has a lot to do with what Sean Payton said to USA Today. And now I will put the comments there for you on the screen. We all saw them as he really tries to make the case that the Jets were one of these teams that won the offseason, and that teams that win the offseason and look for attention, like going on Hard Knocks, usually fall flat. Now, one of the biggest problems to that statement is the Jets didn't want to end up on Hard Knocks. They didn't want to be part of it. They kept asking the NFL, look, go find somebody else. Go look for another team. Put anybody else on there. The NFL had the Bears. They had the Washington Commanders. They had the Saints they could have chosen. But no, they wanted the Jets because the Jets have Aaron Rodgers on the team. They have a lot of good players on the team. They have a lot of good core on this team. The NFL is the one that wanted the Jets on Hard Knocks, not the Jets. Why he went on to USA Today to make those statements is something that just blows my mind. I have no idea. Now, I will give Sean Payton credit for this. He did try to walk it back, although it didn't. It certainly, the cat was out of the bag at that point. Let's just take a quick look here.
I had one of those moments where I still had my Fox hat on and not my coaching hat on. And, I said this to the team in the meeting yesterday. We've had a great off season relative to that, and I've been preaching that message. And here I am, the veteran, stepping in it. And, it was a learning experience for me. It was a mistake, obviously. I needed a little bit more filter.
Now, the problem with Sean Payton's statement, not necessarily the apology, but with the statement before that by going to USA Today and criticizing the Jets and then lambasting now offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, are a couple of things. First of all, should we say the Jets won the offseason? Okay, yes. They obviously bring in Aaron Rodgers. He certainly is a big difference maker. They bring in a number of big playmakers like Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb. These are guys that Rodgers is comfortable with. Mecole Hardman looks like a player who could be an impact guy for this team this season. And, of course, we also have the potential of Dalvin Cook signing on the dotted line come the end of the weekend. So, yes, the Jets made some moves. They added some big-name players, no doubt about that. But this is a team that's been built through the draft. The Jets have had a lot of young players come through this team over the last couple of years. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh have done a tremendous job trying to put a new face on this franchise and give this team a new look over the last couple of years. And that's why they have been in position to go ahead and make these kind of big moves. And when you take a look at recent history, teams that build this way has success. Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that had a lot of young players, good young core, and then went out there and got Tom Brady, brought him in, and look what happened. They ended up winning the whole thing. L.A. Rams, the same thing, right? Good young core. What do? They trade for Matthew Stafford, and they find a way. That ends up being the final piece they need to go ahead and make their Super Bowl run. Now, I'm not telling you the Jets are going to make a large run in the postseason. They're going to be the team to beat this year. I can't say that. Obviously, the team to beat in the NFL this year is going to be Kansas City. For obvious reasons, they are the defending champions. It remains to be seen how good the Jets can be this year. But just the fact that Sean Payton felt the need to throw the Jets under the bus, I just don't understand that at all from the standpoint of why would you want to give anybody on your schedule a reason to highlight your game and put a star next to it. Then on top of that, to really go after, this is one that really boggles my mind, is to go after Nathaniel Hackett. Now I understand, look, Nathaniel Hackett did not do a great job in Denver as the head coach. We all understand that. They were a bad football team last year. A lot of blame can go around. Even Payton kind of acknowledged that as well in his comments. But to go out there and say that Nathaniel Hackett, as he said in his quote, had the worst coaching job in NFL history, that I just can't believe that another coach would actually throw a fellow coach under the bus like that. This is the NFL. This is supposed to be a fraternity in a lot of ways. I cannot believe that statement was made. That is the one that probably bugs me more than anything else, because look, everyone says, look, Sean Payton's a great coach. Here's a coach who was part of the Bill Parcells tree. Never has in Bill Parcells' entire career he thrown any coaches, whether they be associated with him or not, under the bus. Even when Bill Belichick stabbed him in the back with the New York Jets about 23 years ago. Never did Bill Parcells go out to the media and try to lay waste to another coach at all. It made no sense what Sean Payton did. It was hubris. It was arrogance. It was absolutely ridiculous. So he deserves, does Sean Payton, all the criticism that he is getting right now from not just Jet fans, but also from the media. And that leads now to Robert Saleh's response, which I thought was a tremendous response. Let's take a listen again.
Well, I'm not going to acknowledge Sean on that. He's been in the league a while. He can say whatever the hell he wants. But as far as what we have going on here, it's I kind of live by saying, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So hate away. It's obviously we're doing something right if you got to talk about us when we don't play until week 4, and I'm good with it. But the guys in our locker room, they've earned everything that's coming to them. There's a lot of crows pecking at our neck. But all you can do is spread your wings, keep flying high until those crows fall off and suffocate from the inability to breathe. It's a whole other analogy I'll get into later. But
I love Robert Saleh's answer. I think it's the perfect response. I think it's the kind of response that's going to reverberate through that clubhouse because, unfortunately for Sean Payton, yes, even though he did try to backtrack it, it's too late. The cat is out of the bag. And last year, as we know with Robert Saleh, when the Jets lost to the Baltimore Ravens after Week 1, got killed in that game 24-9. He went out there and said, anybody who criticizes our ball club, I'm going to start taking receipts. And the Jets ended up winning 6 out of 8. They played good football for a while before, of course, the bottom fell out towards the end of the season. So here's another situation where the Jets now are having an opponent not just give them a blank check, but give them receipts. And here are the receipts right there on the table for Robert Saleh to grab a hold of, and he can use that for his football team. Not to mention ripping Nathaniel Hackett, who again we can debate all we want to about the job that he did or did not do well in Denver, understandably so. He was the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers for a couple of years with Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers did win MVPs. Oh, by the way, now they're together again here in New York. I mean, it's a snowball effect that I don't think the Broncos really wanted. And now here come the Jets. It's going to be that Week 5 game. This was a game that when that schedule came out, I looked at it as kind of like a trap game for the Jets because you had the Kansas City Chiefs Week 4, you had the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 6, and here is that Denver game against the Denver team that maybe they'll be better, maybe they won't be that much better than they were last year, maybe they'll be a playoff team, maybe they won't be. We don't know yet. It was a trap game as far as I was concerned early in the season. Now there's going to be a lot of focus on that matchup. So also when a trap game isn't a trap game anymore, it's now a statement game. You would have to imagine for a team like the New York Jets when we get to that point in the year. It's upcoming. Now, quickly here, on the Aaron Rodgers contract, again, agrees to a 2-year, $75 million contract that will basically reduces his salary by $35 million. Aaron Rodgers now only counts $8.8 million against the Jets' salary cap for this year. He gets a $35 million bonus up front on this contract for this year, and then he gets only about $1.2 million the rest of this year, and then $38 million next year. And again, even that's not going to have a huge impact on the cap. Why is this important? Because it gives the Jets flexibility to go out there and add pieces that they need for a potential run. And that's why, lo and behold, here comes Dalvin Cook. There is the interview on Dan Patrick's show in which Dalvin Cook said that he got text messages from Aaron Rodgers, who's been trying to recruit Cook here to New York. There is also the statement that Cook made saying that he would like to, it sounds like he has momentum pointing towards coming to the Jets. He's coming to visit the Jets this weekend. Most likely might sign, although you have teams like the Patriots, the Dolphins that are hovering out there as well. Things do not go well with the Jets. You could end up seeing an AFC East rival jumping in there and making that happen. Now, I'll say this about Cook. Granted, there's a lot of baggage that comes with him after he was accused of, I believe, either physical or sexual abuse with an ex-girlfriend. But he is, despite the baggage, a very talented player. Averages 4.7 yards per carry. Did so over 4.5 years with the Minnesota Vikings. Over 1,000 yards, really over 1,100 yards per year over the last 4 years of the Vikings. He is a very talented back, and you add him into the bring back room with Breece Hall, with Michael Carter, Bam Knight. It could be a dynamic backfield for the Jets. Now, this could, of course, affect playing time. What does it mean for Breece Hall, who right now is still on the physically unable to perform list? I think it's a very, very good question. Does this mean for Michael Carter? Does that mean makes him expendable? How is that going to change how the roles will be for this running back group? But just on paper, you add Dalvin Cook in there, just from talent alone, it makes it a very intriguing set of weapons that are, again, at the disposal of Aaron Rodgers going into this season for the New York Jets. So they keep making news, in spite of what Sean Payton says. The New York Jets stay in the news once again. Remember, folks, like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think about the Sean Payton giving the Jets more receipts that they can cash in? We'll see how things work out when we get to that point in the year. Like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time.